Welcome to the Built Different podcast. Let's get it. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Built Different podcast. I'm here with yours truly on High and Inside. Episode 11 now. We're getting somewhere here. I got my glass of Red Bull.
Sipping.
We got our lovely, not so white Chris. We got Wulfy.
Yo.
We got Poppy Devante.
You know the vibes.
We're locked in. We're here ready to give you another episode. These playoffs have been absolutely outrageous. Wulfy, why don't you lead us off with the take, man? What's up?
So my hot take is actually going to be about one of the playoff teams, which is the Dodgers. We'll go into more what they need later in the episode, but one thing I want to talk about right now is I don't actually see them being that powerhouse team that they've been the last couple of years. I'm coming in right away with this hot take. Like, I know they just won 110 games. You're like, how could you say that? Looking at some of the players they lose, Heaney, Anderson, two guys that have been dominant in their rotation this year. Trey Turner, I mean, are they going to be able to afford another $33 million player? Probably not. You lose Justin Turner. I know Gallo isn't huge, but you lose him too. So many pieces with these other teams getting better. I don't see them competing. We talked about it weeks ago where if they didn't win, it would be like, what do you do from here? And seeing when the Padres are getting better, the Braves have been dominant, the Mets, the Phillies, looking what they just did, like, I don't think we're seeing the powerhouse Dodgers anymore. I think their one World Series dynasty is over. And I you know what? Good for me, because as a Met fan, I'm glad they died. This is what they get. Like, to me, they didn't win anything, and I just don't see them winning anything going forward now.
Energy.
They're like dead. Like, they have no spirit. They have no soul.
Supposedly they just signed Trey Turner to Aaron Judge.
It's like Freddie Freeman adds to that. I don't know why. It's like Freddie Freeman went there and lost his soul, and he's just there.
His manager.
It's just weird. It's like the final nail in the coffin too. Like, how, like, you just went to the world or the playoffs multiple years in a row. You're almost starting to look like the Braves.
I mean, it's the Dodgers. I mean, we'll definitely get back into it later. I mean, I don't think they're necessarily done, but like, yeah,
I don't think they're out of the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be this, like, everybody's scared of them Dodgers team anymore, where it's like, oh, they're the lock for the World Series.
You really think they passed on signing Trey Turner so they could snatch Aaron Judge?
To be honest, I want to be another big contract. I don't know.
I want to
be
shocked.
Freeman and Mookie Betts now.
They got anything they need, Wulfy. Anything they want, it'll be there. Anything the Dodgers want,
they got that Magic Johnson. Come on now.
And they'll just keep
Kershaw, another guy they lose too. They're gonna have to pay him again. So there's a lot of pieces, man. They gotta fix.
Well, what's up, Chris? What's on top of your mind?
No, I'm just gonna have to say, hate to hear it, but I love to say it. Yankees fans out there, who has more titles in the last 20 years? This is a great year, because at the end of the day,
that's a fresh
Yankees, did well in the regular season, but couldn't get the job done, just like every other year for the last 10, 13 years. Love to see it. Fuck the Yankees.
You're talking about decades of time that literally, like, they haven't been good. Like, haven't won it all. That's crazy.
And it's like the one year that they won, they like assembled like the fucking Power Rangers, like who were all going through like a fucking. It was like each and every one of those guys were all like 32. It feels good.
It was.
Yeah, Johnny Day.
It was like when
goal and got paid over there. You had Matsui Zella going crazy.
Everyone was like 30.
He was one of my favorite players.
Oh man, but my top take, the Rangers. If you guys didn't see it, they got Bruce Bochy now. They got Bruce Bochy leading the ship. I thought, it was weird seeing him come out of retirement, because I remember when I saw him with the Giants last, it looked like he was gonna he was one, bullpen collapse away from death. He looked really old. But you know what? He's giving it another run. If Tony La Russa can do it, why not Bruce Bochy? I feel like Bruce Bochy is doing this to prove something, which would be very hilarious if that's the reason why he came back to prove Tony he's better than Tony La Russa or something. It'd be funny. But I think he's perfect for what the Rangers need. They got a whole bunch of talent, but they don't got any direction at all, and I think he'll provide them some good direction. I think this AL West is shaping up to be a good one next year.
I was going to say, just one quick thing, actually, now that you bring that up with Bruce Bochy, pretty interesting news. But when you think about it, there's actually 4 managers that we've seen come back that we weren't expected, which is Bochy, Buck, Dusty Baker, and Tony, like you just said. So that's now
You think
4
they'd be
guys.
bored?
I mean, dude, there's I'm not counting anybody out anymore. Now it's I wouldn't be surprised if somebody takes Joe Girardi even at one point again, as bad as he was.
No, I think that guy's done. I think his goose is cooked. Joe Girardi's goose is cooked.
Dude, if people like Boone could get a job now, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But no, yeah, my bad.
No, you're good. What's up, Devante?
My hot take. Wow, what a time to be a Yankee and a Red Sox fan. You're down 3-0. You're calling David Ortiz to ask him for some advice on how to come back from such a deficit. You're watching the New York Yankees go up 3-0, choke against one of the best dynasties of all time right now, the last 2 decades at that. To use as motivation, you're the team that choked to the Red Sox, and you're watching history unfold all over again. To use that as motivation.
That was your father's Yankees.
Yeah, to then choke and get swept.
I was gonna say,
wow.
These 2 Red Sox fans have been waiting for this episode just to unload.
Yep.
I love it. I love it.
I don't know what David Ortiz thought.
Also called the sweep.
Thank you. I
think we all called.
sweep.
I was gonna say I think we all
Fuck
called the
the
sweep, and I
Yankees.
know I called the Phillies winning at home.
Yeah,
but
I agreed with Chris on the sweep. Even though I wanted to see both series go 7 games. That's just
so yeah. Quickly on that topic, I kind of want to apologize for my take on thinking the Yankees would do fucking absolutely anything against the Astros. I apologize to the MLB gods, and it was I don't know, they got smacked. They got absolutely put in their place. They got shown that they really didn't belong.
It looked like the New York Knicks.
Yeah, it definitely is indeed your grandson's Yankees, because from the looks of it, your grandson's Yankees are. I don't think they're bringing a title to Grandpa, so we might have to wait for the great grandson Yankees, because I don't know if this dynasty or whatever you want to call it is doing it here. I don't even know. Yeah, fuck them.
they got fully exposed to the point where it's we all almost expected it when they had that bad stretch.
At the same time, I don't even know if it's exposed, because it's I think in the back of our heads, we all knew the Yankees were very, very, just, I don't know. For me, I just wanted to see it happen because Aaron Judge was just popping off, and it just seemed right. But it's the Astros. They destroy everything that's right in this world. So
exactly. And then, what do you expect from your MVP? Like I said, who was gonna be just like A-Rod, but he actually did even worse than A-Rod did in 2009, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, his postseason numbers are terrible, but they got outscored 18-9. It wasn't even close. Their pitching just ate the Yankees up
with 42 Ks.
Oh Jesus! It's insanity. It's to the point what. They're not even on the same level as Houston.
This goes all the way back to the trade deadline and something that I said. I mean, I applauded that they even tried to get something around Judge, but it goes back to something I said is what the fuck is wrong with the Yankees? They always stood for getting anybody anytime they wanted and just doing whatever it took to get whoever they wanted. And they didn't get Luis Castillo and they didn't get Juan Soto, two players that could probably really have fucking turned it around for them. And, I'm not saying beat the Astros, but at least, something, a game, 2 games. Because, did Frankie Montas not even pitch? Or he pitched one game?
That was the first time coming out the pen. And
yeah, he was coming out the pen.
What do you expect from a guy who has not come out of the pen?
It's a shame.
I mean, the Bader thing worked out well, but they needed so much more.
Bader was their best player.
Darth Bader.
Yeah, I was going to say, But they needed their pitching actually did fairly well. I mean, 18 runs in 4 games isn't terrible. Like, it's not great, like, considering one of the games is at least 5 runs.
Right.
But the thing about the Yankees is they just couldn't hit. And what's wild is that with their team, like, there's some guys that are sticking around, and even the ones that they don't, like, they need a huge overhaul. You're not talking about like one or two guys, because even someone like Judge didn't come through. You're talking about like a whole new team you basically need to compete with the Astros. They barely beat the Guardians.
More than half of their lineup is gone.
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's so, like, for me, it was like going into this season, the Yankees that we saw against the Astros and kind of towards the end of the season was the Yankees I expected coming into the season. It's just Aaron Judge hit the ball so fucking well that I just, like, bought into that story so much. But at the end of the day, this was the Yankees team that I kind of expected. Like, if you look at this team on paper, it's not, exciting. It's not exciting at all. It's just they had a really good regular season. It sucks to see Aaron Judge go down like that. But at the same time, man, what the fuck was that performance?
Oh, it was terrible.
Damn.
And what's really bad... What's up, Chris? Oh.
Judge said he was uncertain of where he's going to do. So he's just taking it all in. Taking those boos in. When he got
and the one thing that really hurts him is that he probably almost wishes they didn't go to the postseason, because his postseason numbers do not look good on paper, and like that might scare some teams a little bit.
I mean, I doubt it. I mean, I think what it comes down to is that he was pretty burnt out, I believe. Burnt out from the regular season, chasing the record, having a year as he did, carrying the whole team on his back.
Greg Jennings.
And I don't even necessarily mean this season. I mean overall, because I think what was the stats in 45 games? He's hitting like 209 or something like that.
Well, I feel like if you put him on a team where he doesn't have to be the guy, like he doesn't have to be this, because literally if he didn't have this season, I don't think the Yankees make the postseason if he doesn't have this season, because it's like his season kind of motivated others around him. But if he goes to a team that has a good lineup, maybe you go to Seattle, like Chris, you've been mentioning, get yourself around Julio Rodriguez, Ty France, JP Crawford, or, maybe even he decides to go to the Mets and puts himself around Frankie and Alonso and, whoever. Just if he goes to a lineup where he can just feel safe, I think.
Imagine hitting the Red Sox, who have one of the best batting averages. Be disgusting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he's going West Coast, but
yeah.
What's funny is I think we mentioned this at one point, but it's funny to think about. Imagine you're like the Yankees and you don't resign Judge, you don't really get a big name, and you literally now have to market Stanton as like your top.
That's what I'm saying. If Aaron Judge leaves, this Yankee, like, it's gonna be a dark couple of years for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying,
imagine the Yankees rebuilding right now, the same way we rebuilt in 2012 and then came 13. Did what we did.
Yeah, and
Stanton's face is the Yankees.
Stanton and Garrett Cole, I don't think they can handle that, because it's gonna be bad. They're gonna get booed. Yankees fans are gonna be disgusting. Stanton's gonna I don't know, man. I don't like this. I don't like this for Stanton.
Purposefully get hurt right away.
High blood pressure. You can take high blood pressure medicine.
Go on the deal for 60 days because of it.
Holy fuck! But it seems like such a Yankee thing to have this happen. It's just crazy.
Especially recently, yeah.
Imagine
it's your grandson's Yankees, man. So I don't know it, because we said this last year. I mean, a lot of people said last year that they needed to get something in free agency, a couple of somethings, to keep in contention, and then they didn't. And then they kind of just had a really good year anyway. But I think this season, more than anything, I'm showing up to Aaron Judge's house. I have his favorite candy. I have flowers. I have the Brinks truck. I have, whatever that man wants and needs. You got to give Aaron Judge the contract and work from there. I don't even do anything until I sign Judge if I'm the Yankees.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's not even close. Like, if you don't re-sign him,
it's done.
Like,
stick a fork in it.
Even if you get like Trey Turner, right? Because he's free agent, and like maybe a couple like side bats, like you're not replacing him. Like you what are you gonna do? Take down the court stands like that judge section? Like
Yeah.
you literally built something for this dude, like, and you're not gonna resign him? Like like you said, it would be the darkest of dark. Like they would riot. Like
If you don't
'Cause it's
sign the
like they're-
captain back, you're really rebuilding. It's like when we lost fucking Mookie Betts.
yeah, and you would have to accept it, and it's to the point too where what we saw in this playoff series, if they don't even like, I get it, he wasn't great, but the fact that he got them there, if you take that out of the equation, you're talking like 15 probably less wins if he's not there, if not more. Like
Yeah.
you would need like 4
because
extra guys. Just to replace him.
he had like he was league leading in so many different clutch stats.
Yeah, he had like 7 walk-offs for them this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was that year that man had was nuts, and it was all for nothing, which is crazy.
And to tell you the truth, even if you aren't a Yankee fan, I guess even I know you guys with Mookie Betts probably feel like that. I don't know as much as Soto because that was a little bit earlier in a couple of years, and you still have time to do it. But imagine you have that player that hits 62 home runs and 120, 30 plus RBIs and did what he did, and you don't resign him.
I mean, that's
I would be
the natural
so
Bryce Harper.
fucking angry.
You don't think?
Yeah.
Well, you got a ring out of it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
with Bryce Harper, it was kind of like
I'm talking like record setting.
Well, at the time, when we lost Bryce Harper, it wasn't like it was deflating in a way, but at the same time, we still knew that we had a competitive team. Like I didn't know that we had a World Series team, but I knew that like the Nationals were a team that could pull off a division win. We didn't win the division, but it still felt like a good enough team. And then the whole bad start to the year when Trevor Rosenthal didn't record an out for like 8 appearances or whatever the fuck that was. that was crazy. But it's different because even with the Mookie Betts situation, the Red Sox, they still made the playoffs, right? A couple of times after Betts left?
Yeah.
Or maybe one time?
Even last year.
No. Yeah. Oh, yeah, technically last year. Plus, you guys had some
for
talent
a team that
there.
was
I guess
we went crazy.
Like, if Aaron Judge leaves the Yankees are literally left with, again, Stanton, Gleyber Torres, Garrett Cole,
Donaldson.
Aaron Boone.
I guess also, too, the reason why I'm asking that is as a Mets fan, I rarely see someone do well on my team. So it's like I'm not used to someone doing well and leaving.
It's happened to the Nationals so much.
Actually, shit, it could be this year for me, though, with the Grom. So, but I guess it's
so what are some what do we got final thoughts for the Yankees?
Final thoughts for the Yankees. In the back of my head, I could tell you that they're going to do everything in their will to sign him. It might possibly not be number-wise what he wants because of his performance in the playoffs, because, that's what it matters most. Like, you don't want to give this man $20 million and you're batting fucking, what was it, like 119 in the fucking playoffs this year when they really needed you most. So, his the price dropped and whatnot, but like I think that gives him also a push to stay at the same time. And if he does stay, you got to remember that the Yankees lost. This is what, their 4th series, or is it the 3rd series against the Houston Astros?
4th.
I think it might be at least 4th. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're really gonna.
That's crazy.
They're really
man.
gonna live off
Astros really. It's so funny. The Astros really just showed up and made the Yankees their bitch every fucking time they ran into each other.
This is the first time in Yankee history, that has ever happened. Which goes to show,
and you know what's crazy
you
about
have to
that?
come back crazier next year.
First time that's happened where they've lost 4 times, and think about it. First time the Yankees have happened in history, right? All of their history. And the Astros have only been in the AL for 10 years.
Facts.
And they did it, and they already broke the record.
I actually did forget about that.
So think about how strong the Astros
and
are.
Remember how big that field was before?
Years.
It was like 4. What was it? Like 4.
Oh, I used to love that shit with the hill and everything.
I liked it. That movie, the show especially.
Yeah, but what were you gonna say, Chris?
I was just gonna say, who beat the Astros in the playoffs? Wasn't the Yankees, but
yeah,
the Red Sox did.
And that's
We
a
didn't
good
even get
point when
swept
you
last
think
year. We
about
had a
it.
worse team.
Juan Soto did as well.
That's why you guys might actually be like a Judge away from getting far in the playoffs. The Yankees clearly aren't.
Oh
a
my
Judge
God,
away.
I can see it right now. Aaron Judge to the Red Sox. The whole fucking baseball world flips upside down again.
Well, think
Oh
about
my
it.
Like
God.
I said, that's the
If
Babe
you
Ruth.
look at
Judge-
the Yankees, like if that happens,
That's
and
the
you're
Babe
Yankees,
Ruth
what
curse
do
be
you even
over.
Babe
do?
Ruth all over again.
Curse to be over.
Yeah, just and you know what's crazy to think about?
Be
Like
reversed.
seriously, if they did that, Judge legit himself got the Yankees to the playoffs. He could clearly do that to the Red Sox. But the Red Sox in the playoffs with the guys you have, like obviously, you know, I know you might lose some Bogarts and Devers and then Judge. Like those three alone would be a team itself. Like the Yankees were not like that at all.
Right.
Like Judge was there, but they didn't have anybody else really around him doing anything. Judge there, like you guys said, with the actually in the beginning take where you know take the pressure off of him. Whew, that would be a scary team.
Word.
Devers is my pick for
Yeah,
MVP.
You know where I could see Tatis going to the Yankees in like a crazy sign and trade.
Ooh!
That's a
That would
hot
be crazy.
take.
If you're gonna say that,
That's-
that's
hold on.
good. That would
be
If you're
perfect.
gonna
Why
say
did you
that,
like start with
I
that?
want
I
to
can see that.
follow up and say that if that doesn't happen, you gotta remember the Yankees were asking for Shohei Ohtani, and Shohei Ohtani has been saying he wants to win. They're gonna have to pay up. They're gonna have to do something for him, especially after they just lost to the Houston Astros. Come on, you know you're talking about the co-MVP. Come on, bro.
I'm saying if Judge, like if Judge leaves the Yankees, you don't resign him. You gotta sign every single free agent you possibly can at that exact moment, bro.
Bro,
The moment
imagine
he leaves,
Shohei
like, you
Ohtani
gotta
and
start.
Aaron Judge in the same lineup.
I'm getting 7. I'm getting agents. I'm getting everybody together at a massive table. I'm like, yo, contact everybody. Contact Carlos. Tell Arenado not to resign in St. Louis. Let's get fucking everybody. Because I don't know what you
Go
do.
Schmitz to the
Correa.
Yankees.
Correa definitely is going to the Yankees.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
And
I
it's
actually
funny,
like Correa and the Yankees.
I could see it.
They were
too.
trying to
He
sign
has
him
that
last year.
energy. But the thing is, too, when you think about it, the Yankees are already one of the top payroll teams in baseball, and some of the guys that they're necessarily losing aren't getting paid that much. Like, dude, Josh Donaldson, I'm pretty sure gets
He
paid
looks like a
25
bum.
mil next
He's
year. 25
fucking
for
ass.
Josh Donaldson.
He is fucking.
That's
ass.
insane.
Good glove though. Don't get me wrong, but motherfucker
I'm
can't
pretty
hit
sure
the
it's at
back
least
for
25
strikeout.
mil. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're all right. If you resign Judge, you're paying 35-40 mil a year. Add that to their payroll that's already high, because you got to remember you have a Hicks contract, you have the Cole contract, you have the Stanton contract. How many more big contracts are they going to dish out? That's why I really don't know if they might just try to rebuild and like do that. I don't know. Like, where do you go from here? That's why we said it. It's like it's almost like how do you beat the Astros when you're already paying so much? Like it's almost hard to add more.
This is gonna be. I think this offseason's gonna be a crazy one. I think we're definitely in store for it.
Oh yeah.
So,
I think we're gonna see some guys go places we didn't expect.
like, yeah, Martin Perez to the Nationals, baby. All right, no.
What was the other one?
Johnny Cueto.
Yeah. The shit, Mr. Shit
The big acquisition for the Nationals, Johnny
That's
Cueto.
right.
comes into the field riding on top of a fucking horse. That'd be fucking.
So let's talk about this other series, because this set up a World Series that I did not want to see, but we'll get into that after that. But the Phillies and the Padres, and the Phillies take the Padres out back, beat the shit out of them. Craziness, pandemonium. I don't even know where to begin. So Chris, I'll let you lead this off. Phillies, Padres. Phillies advance in what, 5 games, right? 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 5 games.
Hook them out back.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming. Won every game at home. You know, Padres, they snuck the first game at the Padres, and just
At the Padres.
shit.
You're
Yeah,
allowed to
I'm
breathe,
like
man. You're allowed to take.
I'm
a
like
breath.
Matt Stone.
I'm gonna be fucking explosive. I'm gonna fucking explosively diarrhea everywhere.
Wow, you just took my joke. I was gonna say, man, I'm gonna come here. It's like the explosive diarrhea I got.
I'm just gonna come over here and shit everywhere. All right.
All
That being
right.
said,
Anyway, yeah, man, the Padres just didn't look like they had enough to beat them. Like they didn't have enough. They didn't have anybody step out and do something special. They played very average, and even I think what was most deflating was when it was game 4, I believe it was, where the Phillies came out. They fucking got some runs in the first, but then the Padres came back, got some runs in the first. Both pitchers got pulled out of the first inning. I think they pitched a total of 26 pitches altogether, or some shit like that. And then basically, I want to say the next inning or two, the Padres got the lead, and then the Phillies just came back, just beat them, and then that was the series. Just like that Mariners Astros series we saw, where the game 1, it was just like they gave it all that one game, they couldn't get it. It was kind of just like, yeah, we're not gonna come. We're not the Red Sox. We're not the 0-4 Red Sox. We're not coming back from a 3-1 deficit, let alone a 3-0.
07
So
against the
sad to
Guardians.
see. Sad to see.
Yeah, I mean, I was high on the Padres. This is, again, I thought the Phillies would lose, and the Phillies, they're on, like, someone's got to check what's going in their Gatorade bottles, whether it's crack, whether it's, there's something in their bottle that they're doing amazingly well. Shout out to Bryce Harper, I guess. No, not I guess. Shout out to Bryce Harper, man. He's doing his damn thing. An amazing series, finally showing up in the postseason. Finally, well, I don't want to say finally showing up in the postseason. He's had some good series in the postseason, but finally showing up when it matters the absolute most, hitting clutch home runs. Rhys Hoskins going off. Alec Boehm, doing his thing. I don't know if you guys saw that meme. If you remember back earlier in the year, he mouthed the words, "I hate this place," after he made an error and they booed him or they cheered him or whatever. They were messing with him. They were going back and forth. Yeah, and then he said now in an interview, he's like, "I love this place." So I thought, that those things are kind of cool. Shout out to Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler. They're doing their thing with Ranger Suarez making some important outs.
Right.
It's definitely some big shit. But on the Padres end, this is where they needed Tatis. This was where they needed Fernando Tatis Jr. And I think this is where Tatis let the Padres down ultimately. Because for once in the Padres franchise history, everything was going right as it intended. You had the lineup moving. You had them 1 through 9 getting the ball to the next guy. You had your starting pitchers looking dominant. You had Josh Hader looking good. And then all of a sudden, it kind of fell flat because they needed that one extra thing, and that one extra thing is the guy that got popped for steroids that broke his wrist riding a bike and So I think they were a Tatis away from this whole thing, and
Remember, his Head and
that has to
Shoulders
suck.
was laced.
Because it's like you sit, if you're a Padres fan, you sit back and just think about what could have been. And I can imagine as you go further in that thought, you get more and more mad that literally if Tatis wasn't dumb, this could have been a World Series winning team or at least getting to the World Series.
oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
no, I mean, it's not like fucking Kim did anything, you know. I think also like Grissom, like he was so hot in the last series, and then
Oh
just
my God.
cooled right off.
Bro, he went
Did
0
what it
for
was?
19 in the last game. He ended
Cronenworth
0
didn't do
for
much.
19 with 17 strikeouts.
I was just gonna say that too, though, with like the Padres. Like it's almost like this series they kind of went back to like what they did more in the regular season, where like they didn't have those pieces necessarily coming through. But the one thing I will admit, Sax, that you brought up a good point about that extra bat, because out of the 4 games they lost, 3 of them were by 2 runs or less. It was 2-2 and 1, so they weren't that far behind, but they just didn't score enough. Like they didn't actually give up many runs. Like 2
And they
games
blew
or 2 runs 1 game, 4. Like that's not terrible. Like there was both of them had 2 clunkers, so like they were kind of like almost even on the pitching end, but they just fell short, and like their back end of their lineup that was hot before just got so exposed, and it kind of almost like we just saw like the regular season Padres again.
Yeah, I think if you're the Padres though, overall you're disappointed in Tatis, but you still have a lot to hang your hat on. Like the resurgence of Hader in the playoffs, like that's huge for them if he comes back
Hader.
and plays consistent next year.
Soto
And then
all
they
year.
have Soto for 2 more years. Like he let him get used to the atmosphere and getting booed and different things like that. Tatis is eligible to play, and I think ironically on 420, I think that's the day he's eligible to play.
Really?
So yeah, I mean like yeah, I think that was the day. I might have just made that up, but and also the free agency is here, so like maybe they get 1-2 more pieces they need on offense, and then they have a good pitching staff, so
And I don't think they
could
lose
be.
much of their pitching staff. I could be wrong, but I think most of those guys are kind of like around for a while. And like most of those bats actually just said are around for a while, so they actually could tweak a little bit, and they're not too. I mean, it was only a couple of games away from the World Series.
Shohei and Darvish on the same team would be pretty cool.
That'd be
That would be
Um,
dope.
that's kind of that's it. They have enough pieces to trade the Angels too, so that's
I could actually see them
it's
doing
interesting.
that too because he would fit there well. Oh my
And
gosh!
and
Don't get me
Hassan
excited.
Kim too. Oh my God! Imagine all 3. That'd be fucking.
Chris is over here trying to build his.
that'd be
dynasty.
crazy. That'd be crazy though, because like you and Shohei would have like arsenals of 10 plus pitches. Like they would just be like
Right.
fucking 2 dudes just fucking
They'd be like
in the fucking lab
manufacturing new
all
stuff.
day, just
Word.
yeah,
And they're players.
maybe just cooking pitches.
They're students of the game. They really study the fucking game. And if they were talking about Darvish having changed, I think it was his curveball, and he was looking at I forgot whose it was. It might have been Kershaw's. I could be wrong, but they were talking about how Darvish is one of those guys that he's studious and he really looks into pitchers and how he could tweak certain his pitches to make it better and whatnot. And then we learn more about Ohtani, and Ohtani basically says that like he lives, breathes, and dies baseball. Like he's studying, he's always on the tablet trying to understand what he could do better. So imagine having a mentor like Darvish talking to him in his ear. That'd be fucking crazy.
And I don't see him leaving the West Coast, to be honest, personally. I just don't see it. I either see Seattle or the Dodgers or even the Padres, like you said. I can even see that more. I just don't see him going to like the Yankees or the Mets. There's no way. I'd love it, man, but
Just to
there's
the
no
Angels.
way. I can honestly see him staying on any of those teams rather than coming to any of our teams. As much as I hate to be brutally honest. Do you think he's
What do
going to
we,
want to go to Boston?
What are our final thoughts on the Phillies and Padres? Wrap us up, Devante.
Phillies and Padres, man. I didn't expect the Padres to lose. However, I'm glad they did because of just how they just showed out. Like how you took the lead in the majority of these games and you couldn't hold the lead. Well, it was by 1 or 2 runs, and home field really played the biggest advantage for the Phillies.
Dude, that Philly crowd was crazy.
Oh my God, amazing!
That's one thing I can say is that with these moments that are happening, these crowds have been electric, like league wide. It's been fantastic to see. Like Padres, they had their crazy ass fan base. I mean, the Yankees, they're always out there. The Astros, they're always out there. But like even Cleveland was rocking. Everybody but the Rays were rocking. Well, the Rays the Rays didn't get a game at home, but I promise you, if they did, it wouldn't have been rocking. So thankfully, MLB knew what they were doing with this format.
I kind of forgot they were even in the playoffs almost.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play a game, and we're gonna go through some teams, and we're gonna go with what this one specific team. When I name it, the one thing that they really need to accomplish this offseason to kind of move forward and either win their division or get to the playoffs or move further in the playoffs, whatever have you. So we're going to start with the Blue Jays. I'm going to start here on the Blue Jays. Toronto, good old Toronto. They choked in the playoffs. I don't know if it was a choke or not. Who knows if any of these teams were ready to face the Astros, because those guys are pretty spooky. I personally think you obviously keep everything the same, and you get two bullpen pieces, one of them being Edwin Diaz. I know, Wulfy, I know you want Edwin Diaz to return back to the Mets, but for the Jazz, that's crazy. But for the Blue Jay, imagine Edwin Diaz on the Utah Jazz.
Edwin Diaz to the
Jazz. Just Jordan Clarkson. No, Edwin Diaz on the Blue Jays, because if there was one thing that, if they had it this year, they would have been a lot better of a team. It would be bullpen, and I think getting a closer like him would definitely, move pitchers up into more comfortable positions, because I think Romano could be a real solid number 8. I don't think he's your closer that you want closing games for you in the playoffs. But what's up, Chris? What do you think the Blue Jays need to do?
Yeah, I'm right on par with you. I think they need just bullpen support. They need maybe, I don't think they don't need much else in the off. They have on paper, the best lineup, offensive lineup. So, you don't really need pitching. You have clearly 2-1.
They need to call all the lefties. They need to get a couple of lefties in that lineup.
A lefty bat, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. A lefty bat, yeah.
I think it's the pitching side in general. They need a lefty bat, actually, is a good call, too. But the thing is, it's like Gossman was good. Manoah obviously had a great season, but they're back into their rotation, and their bullpen is just nothing to brag about. They also are relying too much on these rookie stars, which, don't get me wrong, it's good to have rookies, but they could use that one surefire bat too, specifically a lefty. I'm not saying obviously Harper's there, but you know what we're talking about, that kind of range of player. But they're not far, which is good. And their division, I don't see the Rays getting much better. We're talking about the Yankees possibly even being in rebuild mode. I do think the Orioles and the Red Sox.
Oh, this division is open for the Orioles.
But I'm saying even with the Blue Jays, it is too, and they're not too far. They only lost it by a few games this year, and even had a good push a couple times. So if you lock down your bullpen and your bats clearly already good, they're not too far away. They just need that those solid arms.
For sure. Yo, Devante, tell us what the Blue Jays need.
I feel the same way. They just need, in my opinion, just 3 more players. One solid starter, a bullpen, a better closer, to be honest. I don't want to say Diaz actually like sugar. Azúcar. You need some azúcar in Queens. Keep it clean. And at least, one veteran, one good lefty, one good bat that's been there. That can, Springer's been there, but, Springer was probably cheating when they really needed him most for all we know. But
Michael Brantley.
Facts. I actually like Michael Brantley.
Imagine being related to Michael Brantley. That must be awkward at the family get-togethers. He probably doesn't say anything. Probably just stands there with a straight face. Yeah, I played baseball.
What's wild, too, is, I meant to look at the regular season stats, but it put me right on the postseason stats of all the 12 teams that were in the postseason. The Blue Jays are dead last in ERA out of all the teams in the postseason this year.
Don't you remember Barrios? He had a 6 ERA. He's fucking ass.
Yeah. And that's even including, the Mets and all these other teams that only played, a few games. They're dead last. Dead last. And it's crazy because the top National League ERA team, the Phillies, are the team going to the World Series, clearly. So, we talk about it every episode, but, man, you need pitching. If you don't have pitching, you're not going to win.
Right. Pitching is key.
And Astros, by the way, are the second highest, so,
That's crazy.
So we're going to the Chicago White Sox. My opinion, run it back, man. Just run it the fuck back. Please just keep everybody, sign everybody, maybe go get Rodon back. He's a free agent again. Go get Rodon. I think he's
That's a good
different
one.
now. He's a little bit more tense. He's got more experience now. That I think that 1 year for the Giants is really going to set up Rodon well for whatever team he goes to next. But if I'm the White Sox, I'm getting him back. Get a couple of bullpen pieces. A lot of these teams, it's literally just going to be get a couple of bullpen pieces. But the teams that actually do it are going to benefit. White Sox being one of them. I think you totally threw the year away by getting Tony La douchebag. So you're gonna run this back. Oh, I know you guys heard they might get Ozzie Guillen back.
Hope so.
That would be nuts. That would be
That would
nasty.
that would
Resign
add to the
Tim
list.
Anderson.
Was
Resign
it Chris
Jose
or was it Wolf?
Abreu.
No, I was gonna say it's in the beginning we were just saying that. Yeah, that just adds to the list of the more managers coming back.
Yeah, and I think it'll be good for them. They need that guy that's like, because this team is young. They have personality. You can't put someone with a dead strict personality in front of that. You put someone like Ozzie Guillen in front of that. I think it'd be perfect. But the White Sox after that year, it's up in the air whether they're going to resign the guys that they need to resign. But I say if I'm the White Sox, I push hard, make them family. Let's go run this back. Fuck Tony La Russa. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think they need an upgrade at second base. I think their second baseman Harrison was trash. Garcia wasn't much better behind him.
Gene
I
Segura.
think maybe you get like a corner outfielder, and then you're pretty much set for a nice run. That would be crazy though if they got Rodon back, like with Dylan Cease, like man, and then maybe Lance Lynn will come back around and play well.
Yeah.
That'd be
I just
they got a good team.
I don't know. I just don't take a lot of their stats for face value this year because it's like none of them wanted to play for Tony La Russa. So I don't know. I don't want to like count anyone out yet. I just run it back.
They also need to stay healthy too.
Yeah.
They didn't stay healthy at all this year. So I think if they new coach, stay healthy, you get an upgrade at second base, maybe a corner outfielder, you're ready to go.
Wolf, you're the one with the White Sox hat on. White
That's
Sox.
two of us now.
Wait,
but
you're the
White
one with the White
Sox.
Sox.
You're the White
hat.
Sox.
White
All right, thanks, White
Yeah, so
Sox.
they were
Thanks,
this
White
year.
Sox. All right, so anyway, no, I actually, Chris, you just took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say that too. It's crazy to think about because with the division being so weak, they're actually not that far behind, which is a good thing for them. But a lot
I
of
don't
their
know.
problems, well, I'm going to say with the Guardians, like they were great, but
Well,
White Sox
that's
are obviously
the
still in
thing
the
is
mix.
like I don't know. I feel like the Royals and the Tigers they're entering that dangerous realm of I think the Guardians this year, like exactly what the Guardians did this year. That realm of they could be sneaky freaking good, or they can just be very horrible. So I don't know. I think the AL Central is going to be hopefully more interesting.
If more signings happen, I could see that the Royals are still a bit far away, in my opinion. But Chris brought up a good point: is that a lot of their downside was due to health, and you brought up too with the manager. Those are two things that it's good that you don't have to spend money necessarily that much to fix, but it is hard to stay healthy. Rodon actually going back to the White Sox, that is a cool experiment. I could see that kind of helping them out. But their pitching needs to be better overall. Like Lynn just had a terrible season. He actually missed pretty much most of the season. He only came back in end of May, June. So they only need a few minor pieces, I think, to get them better. But it comes down to the off the fields or the off the market stuff, manager and health.
For sure, Devante. Oh, you got a White Sox hat on too.
Had to for the culture. Everything stocks. Damn. You gotta get rid of Tony La douchebag to begin with.
He's gone.
He's
gone.
It's gone.
He really played a big key, and we know from experience having our old kind of Tony La douchebag for coach in college. Bro, you're too old for the game, dog. You're a momentum killer. You kill it sometimes. And if you go back and you bring somebody like Yang, he honestly, I think, can be the fire to light a spark under their ass. I think the team is good. You bring back Rodon. We've seen that they've contended before. It's just, You need somebody to steer the freight, to push them forward. Somebody that's been there. Maybe you add one more hitter, somebody that's gonna carry you at least more, especially like in the outfield, like a good solid veteran that's been out there. Then again, like it could be somebody
Dexter Fowler. Sorry. I'm sorry.
like the Guardians did
Dexter
with a whole bunch
Fowler.
of freshmen, and you love to see it, but you need more people that understand the game, that can teach these players, just a little, just the little things to push forward. And I think they'll even make the wild card next year if you throw in a pitcher and a good solid bat and a better manager.
You know who
You
they need? They need a guy like Profar or
Yeah, I like that.
Mitch Haniger, even maybe even Benintendi, Joey Gallo.
You know who
That's
I
who
would
they
like for
need.
them? I would like Wilson Contreras. I think
I like that.
Wilson
Yeah, but
Contreras
the
would be good.
problem is they have that contract still with Grandal. That's still like kind of
Bro,
hefty. And that's the
him
thing.
trade him to the Pirates for a bag of chips.
And you know what it is too is that like when you guys were talking about some of the names, like they actually have pieces. That's why I'm saying I don't think they're too far away. Like they have Jimenez, Robert, Anderson. Grandal should be doing way better. It was like a bizarre season this year. Jose Abreu's still there. Like they have decent guys that are
Well, Anderson and
like
Abreu are
passable.
free agents. Don't forget that.
Okay, so then there you go. Like, so then I do think maybe they are a little bit farther behind. But at the same time, I think Tim Anderson wasn't he hurt most of this year?
Yeah.
I think he was. So like, I mean, I guess
Their
maybe
whole
they
team
could
was
go after
hurt.
like a Trey Turner. Maybe like that would be a solid upgrade. I think they still could use some back end pitching and bullpen, but they're not like too far behind. Like they do have some good rookies to build on, but they also need some of their guys that are already there just to step up.
You know what they really need? They need AJ Pollock to opt out of his player option.
He
That's what
won't.
they
He's
need.
there.
He definitely won't.
No, now you don't even take
There's
the
no
guaranteed
shot.
money.
There's no shot. All right, so moving on to the all right, yeah, so moving on to the Guardians. A very good season by the Guardians. I don't think they necessarily need to do too much. I think this little postseason experience is gonna be very good for most of those guys. I mean, I don't think you should be going in with Miles Straw. I think you replace Miles Straw with Brandon Nimmo. I think Brandon Nimmo would be
Yeah,
perfect for Cleveland. And another hitter that's very underrated that I think is perfect for Cleveland is Josh Bell. I think Josh Bell would be very good for them because what they need now, I think, is just better hitting. I think their pitching is good. Very, they got the experience they needed. I think you just bring those guys back. You run it back with the lineup. I mean, they have money to just do a lot, and I hope they do a lot because they do have a decent, scrappy team here. Chris, why don't you tell us about your Cleveland Guardians?
I like that Nimmo take. I can see that.
yeah, I like the Nemo take too. Um, I think they have already accomplished one thing they needed to do, and that was re-sign Tito. Tito's back for another year.
Yes,
Um, I think I like Nemo. I think also a guy like Mitch Haniger would be good there. I think also like even a guy, even like even like Michael Brantley fits their style because they're not really huge
Bernie,
Play there.
into home runs, but he's a very good contact hitter, and that's what their style is. It's like very, but
That's where he
also
was.
what I think is going to really benefit them is is um is all these new rules that go into effect because they're a very young
fast.
team and
They're a
they're a
fast
fast
team.
team,
Yeah.
very fast team. They had like I want to say they had 4 or 5 players with more than 20 stolen bases last year. So they're very fast. They're young. That's how they want to play, and that's so
Trey
I
Turner.
think that's all they really need. Ooh, trade that would be. And but the thing is, they have the money too. Is the craziest part is they have Jose Ramirez at 14 mil, and
Dude, his
then
deal is
they
insanity.
they have Bieber, who's a free agent this year, I believe. So he's gone. So maybe you get fucking DeGrom to replace him. I mean, I don't know if they want DeGrom and go crazy, but other than Ramirez, it's Straw at 4 mil, and then everybody else makes $1 million or less. So they have a team that's young. They have, maybe they spend a little bit of money.
Shane Bieber
Maybe
is
they
not a
spend some
free
money.
agent, by the way. Not yet.
He's not?
Not yet. I believe he won't be a free agent until 2025 because he's on arbitration, but there's a lot of trade rumors. There's a lot of trade rumors for it. Now, should they trade Shane Bieber? That's a good question. Yo, Wolf, you're up.
Oh.
My bad. I was just looking at something.
No, you're good.
Just,
You're good.
by the way, just to quick say something I forgot to say with the White Sox take is that we talked about like just big bats they could use and like that veteran guy. I'm saying this now. My prediction is that Yoenis Cespedes just started playing in the winter baseball leagues, and he's been going off a little
He
bit.
came back.
He's going to go to the White Sox, and he's going to play with his brother because his brother's going to probably be called up.
You're right.
So I'm just throwing that out there. That's just my hot take of the year right there.
There you
But
go.
anyway, with the Guardians, the good thing about the Guardians is that they way over. I don't even want to say overperform because obviously they just have good guys to do it. They almost took out the Yankees. Plus their budget is so low to the point where it's almost not what you need to fix. It's what you could just, as much as you could add on. Like anything at this point will help. They actually already have a good infield with Jimenez and Rosario and the other Ramirez. Like that right there is good. Naylor actually had a really good season. Maybe get some decent outfield bats, stack up a little bit on more bullpen help. That always, was a good thing too. But they're in a position where it's almost like you can't get worse. It's almost like there's not like they're in one of the best rebuilding positions you could be in, to where you have that low budget that it's almost like I don't know necessarily if they need like a Judge guy or if they're going to go after a guy like that. But they could get these like 20 mil guys here and there, and like 4 or 5 of them could just completely make that like a such a scrappy, hard team to beat with the pieces they already have. Like they're not far behind, and plus they already have the manager, one of the best managers. We all love Terry. So like it's all up from here right now. Just spend wisely. I'm not saying you need to dish out that Judge contract. If anything, I would stay away and just build as much of these little pieces as you can.
What's up, Devante? Cleveland, this is for you.
I hope next year Naylor can fucking hit for once instead of just one home run and just fucking shit the bed, you fucking bum ass sack of potato. Damn.
Yeah, that actually pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie.
Their pitching is good. I mean, we really got to see how good their pitching was against the Yankees at that. The pitching is not a problem. It's just the hitting. Like, you were living off of Amer Rosario and fucking Ramirez and what's his name? Kwan? The new one?
Stephen Kwan.
Yo, that kid could fucking hit. Oh my god. I hope they still don't figure him out next year and he puts up some fucking 300. He's like top 5 in hitting next year or top 10, whatever it may be. Kid could fucking hit. Wow. But you just need more hitters, yo.
Yo, sound like you just explained Ichiro.
Nah, I didn't expect. You know what it was like? His hype at the beginning of the year was fucking wild. Like he deserved all the hype, but like the game they come to figure you out real quick, and you go from being one of the best hitters at the beginning of the season, and you end up becoming the worst at the end of the year. But like he was solid overall. I think he batted above like 280, 290, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he's one of those scrappy hitters. I don't think they'll figure him out.
And he does not strike out. If you look at his numbers, the kid does not strike out. He had a low strikeout rate this whole year.
He hit 298 this year.
Yeah, I know it was borderline
300 hitter.
I think Kwan's biggest thing that kept him out of the limelight was Julio Rodriguez. Like if Julio wasn't Julio, I think Kwan could have been like if he wasn't just not in baseball this year. I think Quan probably had a chance to be the rookie of the
If
year.
Quan had power
You know what?
like Julio, he would have been in the top.
I was just about to say that. You know what? I'm gonna take back my take. And I mean, I'm not saying they need Judge, but just looking at all their stats right now, I have it right up in front of me.
Home runs. They need home runs.
That's it. That's
That's
pretty
all
much
they need.
all they
They
That
need.
just
fucking
need
field is humongous.
even like a fucking. You know who they need? Fucking Joey Gallo with no shift.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
what they need.
Dude,
Joey
even,
Gallo with no shift.
even
I mean,
Franmil Reyes
David
kind of
Ortiz
that's
out of
why
retirement.
that's why I said Josh Bell, because if
Yeah,
like
it'd
Josh
be
Bell
nice.
is very very
Really nice.
solid, and in a place
It's
like
crazy. They
Cleveland,
have like
I can see it.
They have like four
Yeah,
hitters that
I
are
see
hitting
it.
like averaging like almost 5 hitters averaging like 300
It's
like batting average.
Yeah,
But they just only have
yeah.
Ramirez had 29 home runs, Naylor had 20, Andres had 17. Oscar. Oh, we actually forgot about Oscar
and it was a
Gonzalez, by
down
the
year
way.
for Ramirez.
But him and
Oscar
Rosario
Gonzalez
had
just
11.
another hitter. Like they got a lot. They got
Dude,
a
if
lot.
they
to
had,
look
like,
Rookie
forward
too.
to.
I think Oscar is eligible to be a rookie next
I
year.
think fuck it, go
How many
get Aaron
bats? How many,
Judge.
how many
Full
plate
pass.
appearances do you have?
To be honest, Aaron Judge would like really fit this team like really well. Like they could use that big.
I mean, you put
Like would they have? They thought Franmil
that's
Reyes
all they
at one
need.
point was going to give him like 25 home runs, but that never happens. But like if they had like they could also use a big lefty bat too, like a if like obviously he's not a free agent. Actually, I don't think he is, but Schwarber like this like a bat like that in that lineup would be so
Yeah.
helpful.
I think he's on the.
So I guess
wasn't
that's
it
what
like
they
a
need.
4-year
We just solved it. What do they need? They need home runs.
Home runs. That's all they need because every time when in the Yankees series, it's not that they didn't out hit the Yankees. They fucking put up 2 runs on 6 hits, and then the Yankees just blast a 3-run home run off of 1 hit, a walk, and a home
Right.
run, and the game was tied. You know what I mean? They took the leads.
Yeah.
The
So
GM was watching our
moving
podcast. He's
on.
like, "Don't worry, guys, I'm way ahead of you."
So moving on to the Mariners. This is an interesting team. They had a very interesting year. I think if there's one team where the spotlight is on for the off season, I think it's definitely the Seattle Mariners. I know you kind of had this big surprise emergence of Julio Rodriguez, or maybe it wasn't a surprise to them, but it happened so early in his career. I think you got to thrive off that. Get some hitters around him. I'm gonna go with. I don't think it's realistic seeing the Mariners getting Aaron Judge. I'm gonna be a little bit more realistic and say that they get Trey Turner. I think it would be a perfect fit for Seattle. You get him and Julio just lighting up the bases with great contact. And then you kind of get a lesser hitter to put towards the end of that. I think you got to re-sign Eugenio. I think he meant a lot to that team. I don't even know if he's a free agent if they sign him to an extension or not. But I say get someone like Benintendi or Dansby Swanson or just something like that next to Trey in the infield. Yeah, I think I think they got a lot of money too. I know they just re-signed Luis Castillo, who good job on them. They traded their prospects and they got the fair return on him. Good building pieces, but I think they got to go for it this free agency. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think they got a lot of interesting things that are going to happen this offseason. Like Winker, what do you do with Winker? I would let Winker go, right? You also have Adam Frazier. I think they need an upgrade there at second base. I think they get rid of Frazier. They also have Chris Flexen. I think he's the odd man out, so you get rid of him. So it's like they got a lot of things that are expiring that open up. Like you said, they have a lot of money, so that's good. I think what they need a second baseman, and then I think they need a DH. I think they need to get rid of Carlos Santana, who they brought in. I think he's too old. You get rid of that guy, and then you're looking pretty solid.
Who would be perfect for their DH spot? Anthony Rizzo.
Josh Bell.
Well, Josh Bell, I think
spot.
he fits a lot of lineups, but Anthony Rizzo is someone that thrived when the Cubs were trying to win their first World Series and that whole feeling, that atmosphere with the young guys and everything. I don't know. I really oddly all of a sudden feel like he's a perfect fit for Seattle.
Yeah, I like that. I also like Jock Peterson
Why'd you
to
say it like
replace Haniger.
that?
I'm thinking like because I'm like maybe he's not a free agent, but I want to see he is a free agent. But I think because you also have Haniger, so he's like you got to decide. You have Winker, Haniger, Frazier, Carlos Santana. You get rid of those four knuckleheads. You bring in two good dudes, you're pretty set.
Knuckleheads. What's up, Wolf? What do you think?
I think actually just looking at the stats right now, there's one clear thing that the Mariners need. Luckily, they have money. It's slap bats, guys that can get on base and average. Um, right now, they're eighth in MLB or the season in pitching with ERA, so they already have the decent pitching enough to get them to the postseason. They were ninth in home runs, so that's pretty good. The top 10. They were 28th in average in the MLB this year. They could not get on base. Like they were just home run or nothing, clutch hits or nothing. So you had a couple bats in there. Nim obviously center field with Julio. I don't see like someone like that, but like maybe like a Trey Turner. That would be a perfect addition for a team like that. Put him in the leadoff spot. Obviously,
Go
like
for it.
Rizzo wouldn't be bad too for DH, but I think they just need to focus more on slap bats. Like a Brantley might be a good addition there too. Guys that are just going to like raise that average up, because if you have ninth in home runs but bottom 30 and you still got to the playoffs, if you even get to like the middle of the pack, you're talking like another probably like 80 runs from RBIs of just guys being on base. Like that's what they needed. And that's what they needed in the series in general. Like they just needed more, hitting, because they just couldn't hit enough.
What's up, Devante?
The Mariners. Oh, it's only. I just find it confused. It's not confusing, but like, they had the best comeback season in history. Like most come from behind wins in MLB history, if I'm not mistaken. With the team that they had, and then the team they then assembled after the trade deadline, right? So, how do you add on to a team that did so good, but like at the same time just fell short? With hitting and superstar like Papa, who had like a batting average of like 320, I think, off just fastballs alone in the postseason. No, in the regular season in general. Oh, I'm like, it's so hard. I'm just
The Mariners discuss Devante.
that team. Wow, I really didn't think they would do as good as they did, just because obviously I'm biased. I'm a Red Sox fan, and we did the same thing in 2013, and then boom, 2014. What the fuck happened? Um, you add more hitting, just like what Chris said. Get rid of some of the knuckleheads, just because, like what the fuck is Santana? He's not like old school Santana, who was just like going crazy for you back in the day. But who knows?
Kind of forgot he was there.
You just never know, because you're still seeing these 40-year-olds go crazy, and I don't know. He probably just needs to talk to Justin Verlander, fucking David Ortiz or something, so he could come back and just go crazy. But
They're the ones that need Otani.
word, imagine Ohtani in Seattle. That'd be fucking wild.
I can see it.
They'd
You
be
can
great.
see it.
But who do you give up?
So speaking of
Everybody.
Ohtani,
But yeah, exactly. But then do you contend after you give up everybody for Ohtani?
And the thing is, they're not going to do it now too, because they just gave up most of what they had for Luis Castillo. So they'll probably just wait till free agency.
Which I'm glad
If
about.
he's even there.
I'm at.
so speaking of Ohtani, what about the Angels? So for me, I think it's time you just stick a fucking fork in it, accept your failures, and you just move the fuck on. I trade Trout, I trade Ohtani. I get a very, very electric farm system while you still can. Because if there's one thing, Trout had that scary back injury earlier in the year that they were saying is gonna linger with him for the rest of his career. I don't remind any team of that, and I tell him that he's perfectly fine, and I just get rid of him right now. get the king's ransom for
Juice him up,
him.
juice him up.
Get the king,
Put him on tier 2.
like get the king's ransom for Ohtani, and you just move on and you figure this out some other way. Because honestly, I think it's really toxic if you keep this going because, at the end of the day, no pitchers. What pitchers are you gonna get? Are you gonna go out and get DeGrom, and then it's just like I don't know. I think that's just a horrible place for DeGrom to go. Would be
Right.
would be
I
the
think they become
Angels.
depressed.
Jesus.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I don't see the starting pitchers that are on the market right now that could sit here and fix the Angels because you're gonna have to get like 2+ guys at this point. Whereas you can trade Trout and Ohtani for everything that they're worth and just move on. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think you got to blow it up because even if you add starting pitching, you still need bullpen help. They had a terrible bullpen. They just outside of Trout, they had a few. I mean, the shortstop they have is pretty decent, but other than that, they're just not. They just weren't good.
They're gonna trade Rendon back to the Nationals.
They got to do something like either that or they go all out, they get Judge, and then, they just fucking get people to come on cheaper salaries. But just too many holes. They got too many holes. They need to just their starting and their bullpen just suck. Like you can't buy enough arms because you got all your money tied into Trout.
So you can get
And
one arm, but
Renfroe.
I don't think one arm fixes this whole equation. Like you're gonna need 2+.
You need like 6 players. You need 6
you
arms.
need Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez to turn this one around.
There's
And those
I was
guys.
gonna say-
Nolan Ryan.
I was gonna say there's at least 4 guys off the top of my head that they could use tomorrow, which is Diaz, DeGrom, Rodon, and Trey Turner. And there's no way they're getting all 4 of them. And when you already think about it, they're already locked up with the Judge contract. They have the Rendon contract. Ohtani, obviously, he's not going to be there much more, so they're not too worried about that.
Okay.
But you're already locked up in decent-sized contracts that, I don't see them giving much more. I completely agree with you, Sax. It's almost better if they could try to trade those guys now and just rebuild. But I don't even think their farm system is that great to where
They're just going to get Aaron
it's almost
Judge.
like they have to. Yeah, or just imagine just get Judge or DeGrom. I can see them getting one of them, but I don't think it's going to be better.
No, they're not going to get pitching at all. They're just going to get Aaron Judge and call it a day. It's such an Angels move.
Imagine, or him or
the Blue
Trey.
Jays.
Yeah, I just there's
Well,
you said, there's too many holes to fill.
Well, what's up, Devante? How do you feel about the Angels? What do they got to do?
Oh my God.
They got to get Barry Bonds on the hotline.
Yo, it's the whole team, bro. The whole oh my God. You need David Ortiz. You need A-Rod. You need Barry as a hitting coach. You need Derek Jeter.
Tom Brady.
So Derek Jeter can just take all your prospects and just shit the bed and send them all to the Yankees.
You need Tiger Woods.
Oh, plus they need to stay.
You know
they
who
need to stay healthy.
They need Vince McMahon as a fucking manager.
Yo, he comes in as the GM.
Yo, the Angels, they need a lot, man. They need a culture change. I mean, that whole Tyler Skaggs thing too is now daunting over them.
My God, facts. Especially with the Dark Knight. Oh my God.
Didn't they talk about selling the team recently?
Yeah.
Or am I just imagining that?
Move the team, send them to
Nevada.
Call them the Mississippi Cobras. I don't know.
Disconnect the Angels.
Yo, send them to Vegas, yo.
To Vegas.
Yeah, but then
Send
what do
them
you
to
do with
Vegas.
Oakland? You might as well get rid of Oakland than get rid of the Angels.
No, just give Oakland a whole new stadium and everything. The state of California should just put some money into those guys. Help them build a team because, at least they know how to build teams in their very short spans of building teams.
You know where Oakland should actually go? And to be honest, it's actually a decent populated city with sports too. They should go to San Antonio. San Antonio.
Holy
Just
shit.
go right down.
Have Shawn Michaels
San Antonio.
general GM.
Do you need a third team? in Texas?
I mean, why not? Oh yeah, you know what? I still am a fan of having a team in Charlotte and in Nashville. I think those two places could use a team.
They need to take the Angels and take them to Mexico.
I like
Imagine the Angels in Mexico.
Yo, no, the Athletics go down there.
I would like that.
You know,
The
the
league would
only
come back if
thing
they
that
go to
could
Mexico.
turn around the only thing that could turn around the Angels is if they move the team to the DR. That'd be the only thing, and they'd let them just recruit from the DR.
The
That'd be the only
Egypt
thing.
Angels. Fuck it.
The Egyptian,
Yo, send them to Vancouver, and we can have two Canada.
the
teams.
Cartel Angels.
The
Come on now.
Vancouver.
The Cartel Angels. You know how fire that would be out of
The,
Mexico.
the Cartel Angels. Mike Trout pops in with a fucking bandana on.
And a fucking sombrero
Oh my
and shit.
gosh.
He just like
Yeah, and Otani's stuck with them there.
He just has a fucking gun.
He's just
Tiny
like,
with
I
a
hate
thick
this.
ass mustache and shit, like neck tattoo.
Yo,
Imagine. That'd be fire.
that'd be great. Actually, you know what? I'm on.
I don't
board
know,
with this.
man. You
Put them in
gotta
Mexico.
do something. Like you gotta
Cardinal Otani.
you gotta get Barry
El Cardinal,
Bonds,
that's-
Santa Claus, Jesus.
Their fans like, oh, we're only a couple pieces away, and we're like, yo, send them to Mexico. Like
That'd be
Yo, you're a couple pieces away from third place.
nothing. Yeah. On a good day, like even
Oh,
Texas, I
man.
can see them being better than them now.
Dude, Bruce Bochy alone makes the fucking Rangers better than the Angels.
I'm done.
Yeah, Rangers,
That's-
Seattle, and Astros. No way they're gonna be better than them in the next few years.
The AL West is
Drastically
going to be a good
change.
one starting next year. But moving on from the stupid ass Angels, the Mets, the New York Mets. So I think the Mets need to focus on resigning their core guys. I think Nimmo is someone you gotta sign. I think he fits well on the Mets.
McNeil too.
DeGrom, bring him back. Scherzer, send him to Turkey to get a new arm or something. Just keep the guys together, and I think react to the division. Like if you see the Phillies or Braves making some wild moves, I think you just react to that and make some wild moves back. But if they don't, I mean, I think the Mets are the first place team. Next year if they can resign their guys, because I think this Phillies lightning in the bottle run is exactly what it is, a lightning in the bottle run. I don't know. I'm gonna stop counting the Phillies out. Chris, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, for the Mets to get further than they did this year, I think they need a goddamn miracle. Because the Mets they do what they do every year. They just fall apart. The Mets always look good on paper coming into the year,
Word.
and they fall apart. I think they need an Aaron Judge. That's what they need. They need Aaron Judge. They need their quote unquote aces to not be shitty in the playoffs. Like that'd be something they need. I don't know, maybe they need to fucking practice load management, let them pitch every 10 days instead of every 5 days or something. Maybe that'll help their old arms.
Give them the Steven
through
Strasburg
the regular
treatment,
season.
just one pitch one game in the regular season, and then they'll have them for the postseason.
Or you just or you let them pitch every, you do a 6-arm rotation and you pitch
Pitch
6
them
pitchers.
once a month.
Give them extra day. Give them an extra day of rest. I don't know. They need them. Other than that, a miracle.
Wulfy, how do you feel about that?
I love you, but I completely disagree because honestly, their pitching wasn't even the problem. Like DeGrom did great. Bassett did exactly what we needed. Yeah, Scherzer wasn't great, but Scherzer was like kind of hurt all year on and off. Like, and their bullpen was actually fire in the playoffs. Like, their pitching wasn't the problem at all. Their problem was the clear problem. They had one hit that last game. They couldn't hit. They have no bats. Like they literally, like, I think about it. They have no catcher. They have no DH. Escobar
Wilson
had,
Ramos.
like a half season.
Sign Wilson Ramos.
Like Canna, like what are we talking about? Canna, like he's not like a star. The 4 guys that they have, one of them they already lost, which is Nimmo, McNeil, Lindor, and Alonso. Other than that, like you have 5 holes in your lineup. They need a lefty bullpen. Like they don't. They have one guy
Brandon
basically
Belt.
almost all year. Dude, they should have resigned Loop at the time, even though I know he didn't have a great season. But I thought that was stupid they didn't because we only had Jolie Rodriguez, which we traded for the Yankees for Miguel Castro. Just made no sense. But we didn't have the bullpen like couple pieces that we needed here and there. But the thing is, Chris, though, I'll agree with you now
Great
is because
throw.
they do lose like 3 guys. So even though they're pitching this year, I don't think necessarily is the problem. It is going to be the problem next year because DeGrom's technically not here right now. Bassett has an opt out. And I actually think Walker's a free agent. I think we only had him for 2 years. I think the only guys that confirmed right now are Scherzer and Carrasco. So I don't think it was actually as much of a worry last year, but it is now a worry this year. Like
Didi Gregor.
you guys all said the same thing. It's like they have to keep those guys. Like you got to resign Diaz, you got to resign Nimmo, you got to resign DeGrom, but they need that like power bat in the DH spot, and they need
Travis Shaw.
bats. I don't even like. The thing is, I don't even know. Like I almost judge like someone like him might be necessary or like Trey Turner because they're like.
Brock Holt.
Facts, the legend.
You muted yourself, Wulfy.
No way.
Oh, my
What
bad.
the fuck just happened? Did he
Hold
hold
up one
himself? Shit. Don't.
Yo, Devante, let us know.
Oh, well, on my behalf? Ooh, the Mets. Taiwan Walker needs to step the fuck up. I like him. I think I would have gone with him over Bassett in the last game. Max Scherzer.
Dallas Keuchel.
Hell no. Fuck that. It's Kygo. he need to go to the Blue Jays. That's where he need to go.
You need to go to hell.
Max Scherzer needs to he needs to get on TRT or something. Just get fucking yoked. Just come next year and throw like 110. Like, bro, you have DeGrom right next to you. One of the greatest pitchers of all time. Like, they need to get in the same group chat. Verlander, DeGrom, and fucking Scherzer, and just like, hey, who's your physician?
You might even need to add Clayton Kershaw in there too at this point. Like,
oh God, if the Mets get Clayton Kershaw,
if the Mets got Clayton Kershaw, oh my God,
there's no way. Take Justin Turner back. No, yeah, there's the thing
Daniel
is
Murphy.
too is that like it's
David
I
Wright.
still like think that their wins this year were like overrated. It's like looking at how that lineup finished at the end. Like they just had
Word.
such a hot start.
Well, we needed them most. What the fuck?
God damn it! Now you guys
when we needed the most, what the fuck?
Yeah. Hated it, yeah.
That's perfect.
I just wanted to see a Subway's World Series. You know, I was too young to see the first one not too long ago. But
And we're going to be too old to see the second one. So let's move on to the Milwaukee Brewers. So the Milwaukee Brewers, I mean, I still personally am on the side of I think that they should trade their starters and just stock up. But at the same time, you know, give it one more shot. Why the hell not? The Cardinals, they lost all their guys that mattered. They didn't even come close with the rest of them. I think the Cardinals, I never count the Cardinals out, but it's hard to see them being good next year without the leadership, but also with how bad that they performed, in the postseason this year. That has to be, a big hit to them. So I think if I'm the Brewers, I go and get a leader. I go and get Wilson Contreras, take him at the catcher position, put him in that lineup, but also to really make the lineup gel. I said it for Cleveland, but Wulfy, I think you may have said this at one point, but Brandon Nimmo to the Brewers, I think would be
right.
a very beautiful fit for them. Get Nimmo, get Contreras, see what happens, because you guys got the starters to make a deep playoff run, but you got to get there. And you're not going to get there if you're only hitting home runs, but you're literally hitting nothing else. So, Chris, what do you think the Brewers should do?
Yeah, I mean, the Brewers, they need to figure out if Yelich is going to be an everyday player again, or if he's just going to be a guy who sits in the bullpen and takes up a space because he's just hasn't been great. I I think what they also need
Trade him to.
is they need to figure out their closer. I think they get Rogers as their who's their
Yeah,
closer
but
now?
he's a free agent.
He's a free
Rodgers
agent.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they've been using him and Williams still.
Michael Fulmer.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, other than that, like they're primed and ready to go. I just think they, maybe you bring in a guy like Brantley who hits high for average. Yeah, you just got, I don't know.
JD Martinez.
You got
Chill.
JD Martinez. Yeah. I mean, but he's also, yeah, but that they would hit more home runs than they had this year.
Fuck it.
I was gonna say, like, that's what I was gonna bring up too. Is like they were third in home runs. They had the home runs.
They just
were
didn't
third
have
in-
the
they were-
anything else.
They were third in home. Right? You know what's crazy about this? Third in home runs,
That's wild.
fourth in the most walks,
Wow.
and they had fourth in the most Ks. So they either had a home run, a walk, or a strikeout. They were 22 in average. Their pitching was actually 12th in the league.
That's
so
what you call the Adam
They
Duck.
could use. Yeah, dude. Like, so in other words, if they were actually, I think it was 10th or 12th. I think it was 10th in stolen bases actually, which is pretty good
So
too.
basically, if they get Brock Holt, D Gordon, Alcides Escobar, they'll be okay.
Dude, if they had Trey Turner, like a bat like that, where a guy can get on base. Plus, also too, we with Yelich, the shift is away next year, so maybe he'll actually step it up and actually be a better bat again. Nimmo actually would be a perfect fit for them. Still, I'm still going to stand by that. Plus, they have a good starting rotation already. I agree with Chris. Like, there's like some bullpen pieces they definitely need to tweak, especially with getting rid of Josh Hader. But other than that, they have a decent manager already. I kind of like Counsell. Like, he's good enough. But they just need those couple more average bats, and they weren't too far away from it this year. So, go at it.
Devante, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Milwaukee Brewers. Pitching is there. Hitting, you need Christian Yelich to like figure out his swing. I don't know if he's still dealing with that injury he's been going through and adjusting to like trying to change his swing so he doesn't tweak his fucking 50-year-old legs.
Trade him to Russia for Brittany Griner.
Imagine. You're fucking wild.
That would be the most random trade.
You need a better center fielder. Because who is it that they have now? I know it's not Yelich.
We actually talked about this, I think, and it was like
Hunter Renfroe.
some random dudes. Wasn't it like something like Trace or something like that? I can't remember.
It wasn't
something
Trace
weird.
Thompson, right?
Oh, Jace. Is Jace Peters?
I think it is Jace Peters.
I can't remember.
I think it is. But yeah, like you had what was the big homie that they released that he's playing in center field back in the day?
Lorenzo Cain.
Yes, Lorenzo Cain. You need somebody like that.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, so they released Lorenzo Cain, and they just had like a.
They could get Billy Hamilton.
Yeah. Yo, get Trey and stick him in center, or get Nimmo. There you go. We're like calling the shots already. Like, these are definitely gonna happen.
Yeah, because at this point, Trey got to go from shortstop. He's making too many blunders.
Put Fernando Tatis.
But
Imagine.
So moving on to the Dodgers. Wulfy, he's gonna say stick a fork in it. I'm gonna say just fire Dave Roberts already. Like,
Yep.
I mean, I really truly feel like there was some really wasted years here in LA, and you can't look at the talent. I think you just got to look at how many times Dave Roberts has fucked up a game by over managing the game. Or just straight up, I mean, this year they all look dead. I mean, yeah, they won 100 and something games, but it was like The Undertaker at WrestleMania,
Word.
and then the postseason was Brock Lesnar, and that was that. It was all she wrote for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I think you just start there, get a fresh face in, re-sign Kershaw. I guess get Aaron Judge and let Trey Turner go. I don't know what you do there. They have a lot of moving pieces, but you got to just start up top. Get rid of Dave Roberts. No matter if you don't sign guys or not, you got the farm. Just start with Dave Roberts, please. Don't give him more time. Because, again, you've wasted so much. I mean, you've had a team literally with Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, Freddie Freeman, Max Scherzer last year, with,
Will
all those
Smith,
guys
the
in the
best catcher.
rotation. You've had so much talent, and you have a 60-game World Series to show for it. What more can you expect from this team? Like, it has to just be World Series every year or bust at this point, because they don't have anything else to accomplish besides more World Series wins, and it's just not happening. You can't win a full season. I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree. You got to get rid of Dave Roberts. I think you gotta bring somebody in who's gonna be able to get something out of Cody Bellinger. I think he's gonna be key. I think you can't just have
Tony
him
La Russa.
out there. You just can't have him out there struggling for, you know what I mean? Like he's just out there just non-existent. He plays good defense, but it's like just he needs to wake up. Like maybe you get him to lay off the weed or something. I
Lay
don't know. Like
off the weed.
figure it out, man.
Yeah.
He's got to figure it out. And yeah, they got to figure out what they're gonna do with Trey Turner. Maybe they do a swap for Xandar Bogarts.
Trey's a
Wouldn't
free
want to
agent.
see it, but yeah, there's always sign trades, double sign trades, some crazy shit happening. About to see some crazy shit happen this offseason. I think I think you keep I don't know, they they just piss people off. I feel like if I was a Dodgers fan, I would feel like I would be like a Yankee. You know what I mean? Like you spend all this money.
Again, they
and
still
then you
haven't
lose.
won. They still haven't won a World Series for their fans yet. They won it in Texas. Okay. For that
Yeah.
60-game season.
That's a good point. That's
And
right.
you had multiple dudes this year who at points in the season were in the Cy Young race. You had three dudes who were in the MVP, like honorable mention. Like there's not much more you can add to that team besides getting rid of Dave Roberts and just breaking the curse that they have. They have some kind of curse. You know what it is?
It's Clayton Kershaw.
The curse of 2018. That's what
I like
it is.
What's up, Wolf? Tell us what the Dodgers need to do.
I was gonna say, so I didn't necessarily say they should put a fork in it. I just think they're not gonna be like the best anymore. But to get them better, I do agree with you guys. It's to the point where like you probably have to fire the manager. And I know there's some people that are gonna be like, "Oh, that's insane to say. They just won 110 games. They've won 100 games like 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row, probably even more than that." But it's kind of reminding me of like the Yankees now. Where it's like they've won the division multiple years, but like Boone just hasn't gotten them over that edge. And like, well, the blame can also go on the players too. It's to the point where something has to change. Like you got to do something. If you don't do anything, it's the definition of insanity. Trying to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Completely agree with that. Like they need someone to get Cody Bellinger on the right track. I do think the shift will help with that. But they have so many star bats this year that they couldn't get farther. It's almost like I don't even know where you go. Like I don't know if they need like a Judge or like someone like that, but they might need like more guys like a Nimmo, maybe some like smaller pieces like that. They actually have to fix their rotation this year because they do lose at least they lose Heaney, Anderson, and Kershaw that I'm aware of. So that's three right there. They're gonna have to replace. So it's almost like I think I said it like 3 or 4 episodes ago before the postseason. Like they have to win it now. If they don't, like it's I don't want to say it's too late, but it's looking like that.
Devante.
The Dodgers, man. Sheesh. The team is back. Yeah. I mean, with the pieces they're losing, pitching, if anything, is the biggest concern. And I don't know how true it is that they didn't sign Trey Turner so that they could sign Aaron Judge. Like imagine they really do sign Aaron Judge. Like hitting is and isn't a problem for them because like the team is there. Like if you get the best out of all of them, that team at any given day can give you 115 wins. As they've given us 110 this year. But like if their hitters aren't hitting, like we expect them to, or how they did in previous teams, like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. But Freddie Freeman had a good year overall. It can still carry you at the end of the day, but like, I think we get to see more out of them with the banning of the shift next year. So hopefully they do sign Joey Gallo, unless he comes back to the Yankees. That'd be fucking awesome to see. um, Playing Kershaw, like, wasn't he? Didn't he start off hurt this year and like started the season a little later?
Clay and Kershaw just exist these days, man.
Yeah, like I don't know if they signed him because of like his age and it's he's having a decline, speed wise and everything.
I think he's going to do the 1 year again.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they really do give him 1 year. You could tell that
he's about to be a fire closer. I think.
Dude,
he's going to transition.
Crazy is that they were number 1 in baseball with an ERA of 2.80, and then they were 5th in hits and 5th in home runs. It's like, what the hell? Like, what do you fix? I don't even know. Like, you guys are right. It has to be Dave Roberts because everything else is like, I don't even know what you do.
They need
You have insane talent, and you have not even won a World Series in front of your fans yet.
What if they trade?
And I don't really.
They trade Robertson for Baboon.
Dave Roberts on the Yankees. I think he would get the Yankees far.
Same.
Not a World Series, but...
I think Bruce Bochy would have got the Dodgers to the World Series.
Bruce Bowen,
but obviously
Bruce Buffett.
No,
no.
I'm saying like obviously the Rangers took him already, but like I think he would actually got the Dodgers to the World Series.
So, listen, man. These playoffs were nuts. These playoffs, it was a lot of madness. Who do you guys think? With the Phillies and Astros, let's give a little preview. Little predictions. This World Series. I remember I told you guys before the playoffs, I said I couldn't envision a World Series that I wasn't going to like. And it's funny that, we're here yet again to a World Series that I didn't even imagine the Houston Astros and the Philadelphia Phillies being a thing. As a Nationals fan, we see Bryce Harper winning with the Philadelphia Phillies, bringing a World Series to Philly. It does not sit right in my stomach. And then at the same time, we got Dusty Baker leading the Astros. As a Nats fan, it sucks. This World Series sucks. But if the Astros lose, we're going to look at them like the Dodgers, like the Yankees. I can't see the Astros losing this one. I have the Astros in 5. I think they're too dominant of a team. Yes, this is going to be my 4th time going against the Phillies. No, actually 5th, because I counted them out of the playoffs. I counted them out in the wild card, the NLDS, the NLCS. I am counting them out yet again. The Houston Astros are going to win the World Series. It's not going to be close. What's up, Chris? What do you think? What do we got?
Yeah, man. I'm in a tough spot, man, because just like you said, like I don't want to pick against the Phillies because they fucking just keep proving us wrong. But then I also don't want to pick the Astros because I don't like the Astros. I think the Astros get it done. I think overall they just have the more complete team. I think Jordan just continues to just go on, just continue to own the postseason. I think, I just think that the pitching is gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be we're gonna see a lot of good pitching. We're definitely gonna see. I hope we see. Who do you think pitches first? Do you think they pitch Nola or do you think they pitch Wheeler? against Valdez. Valdez has been named starter 1 for the
They'll probably go Wheeler if he's not on short rest, in my opinion.
I gotta go Nola because I gotta have Wheeler go toe to toe with Verlander, who I imagine would start game 2.
Yeah, but the thing is, if I'm
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from the perspective is if you use him earlier, you have a shot to use him again earlier.
Yeah,
That's why it's
I
like,
think
dude, it's
that-
either way. I mean, either way, it's not a bad using
I don't know.
right
I see Wheeler and Nola, especially Nola. I mean, they're pitchers that the Astros have jumped on all year. Wheeler, high fastball usage, blow away hitters with his fastball. Nola more so a technician, when it comes to being a pitcher. I don't know. It's just if the Phillies win the fucking World Series, I just don't know what to think about baseball anymore. But if you remember, the Astros have lost to the Nationals and they have lost to the Braves. If they lose to the Phillies, that's another NL East
Wow.
team.
We need
All
Wow.
teams that were not supposed to do fucking shit. Like,
at least
crazy.
victories in like 5 years, baby.
and every single time, it's just they weren't expected to do a damn thing. The Braves, we weren't expecting anything out of them last year. No one was expecting anything out of the Nats, and guess what? No one expects a damn thing out of the Phillies, but we're here.
But yeah, no, I you know what it is too with the Phillies is that it's hard for me to predict what they're gonna do just on face value because I still think like other than the Braves, like I don't think the Padres were necessarily like they got exposed like all year they were like not even a 90-win team. The Braves one was shocking, but Houston just seems like it's on like a different level to me. Like they are just like a different animal. Like they have such good pitching stats. They have such star bats, guys that have literally done it for like 5 years straight with so much postseason experience. That being said, I do think Philly's going to do very well at home, and I do think a couple of their starters, like those guys, will do all right. So I'm going to say it's going to go 6 games, but I still think Houston's going to win overall. I do think Philly's at least going to take 1, maybe not 2, but definitely 1. And then I know I'm probably going to be wrong, and they're going to just sweep the Astros or something. But no, I think it's going to be 4-2, and Astros are going to take it.
You know it's crazy, real quick. So the Astros, they've also lost in the playoffs, since 2017. They lost to the 3 you mentioned, and then they lost to the Rays and the Red Sox, both AL East teams.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
So the Yankees.
But
This is good because it's like fuck the Yankees. The Yankees are the worst of the East teams because they just couldn't get it
and
done.
fuck the Mets because they just
Yankees
can't
have
get
had
there.
chance.
Yeah, we just don't even see them. We're like, fuck it. No, dude, that's a good point. No, it's the East is running stuff.
Hell yeah, Devante, what you got, man?
You used to once say Dilly Dilly in Philly. I want to see Philly come back, bring a chip to the promised land of America, put it right next to the Declaration of Independence, and ring the fucking bell that people fire. Because fuck Houston. I like Houston, don't get me wrong. But, like, why not Houston? I don't want Houston to win. Fuck that. Houston has it. Pitching, of course, fucking dogs. But, like, the hitting, they aren't really steamrolling through the playoffs as I, like, really expected to.
Jeremy Pena, rookie World Series MVP?
If they do win, I say Altuve. I think Altuve is going to just find a spark in his ass and just, like, pull a heart pace.
He's gonna be bad. He's gonna be batting below Maldonado at this point.
Exactly. I mean,
I was gonna say I'm expecting him to turn it around sooner. There's no way.
Maldonado's gonna have a couple of big hits. No, that's what I want to see. I want to see Maldonado, my guy Maldonado, get World Series MVP.
Dude, he got me a couple bucks already. I bet a couple of his hits. That double that he had.
He's like the only hitter in these entire playoffs that have like plus odds just to get a hit.
Word.
Yeah.
Altuve,
and then he'll always do it, and he always does it for some reason. I don't know why.
Altuve's gonna have to wear
No.
his infamous vibrating panties to know what's coming next, so he could fucking hit some home runs and just started going for them.
Vibrating panties is crazy.
It's like you
They already know it's gonna be on his chest, so come on now. They gotta be somewhere they're not gonna check.
So you know what?
Experience.
Yo, Wolf, close us off with let's have some fun here.
All right,
Close
so
us
it's
off, man.
the down and away segment. So we'll just kind of go right into it with the Yankees. We've been kind of shitting on them all episode, but let's be honest, they are a train wreck. Their bats completely got exposed. They might not have Judge come back this year. Let's not even forget Aroldis Chapman didn't even make the postseason roster. They're a lot of the guys they lose, they don't have guys to step in and place those holes. They're still locked with crap contracts. Aaron Boone's still there. What do you do with Cashman? Like, if you're a Yankee fan right now, like, they went in the beginning of the year thinking, like, Peraza is, like, the next best thing, and they'll, like, go into the promised land to where, like, Peraza is literally, like, the only thing they have now. Like, him and, like, Volpe, who are still, like, not even proven yet. So right now, if you're the Yankees, it's almost like you got to look at that dark alley and realize that, like, the rebuild could be right around the corner, because even if they spend money, like, they're going to need, like, 3 to 4 guys, not just, like, one piece, plus for keeping Judge. Like, I don't see it happening. So, like, if you're the Yankees right now, just throw in the towel, because it's over. You blew it yet again, 4 years in a row.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny living in New York, man, because you got the Jets, and you got the Mets, and you got the Yankees, and you got the Knicks. I mean, the Giants, it's crazy that they're the one New York team that's won. Did the Rangers end up getting that title or no?
I thought they did in the last 10 years. I could be wrong. No,
In
maybe
hockey?
they didn't,
Did
actually.
the Rangers win recently?
I thought they did. I thought they won
Either
once
way,
recently.
it's hilarious. If you're a New York sports fan, it's a very hilarious
Nets.
time. Oh yeah, the Nets. Forgot about that. You know, you just don't know. I mean, you got to just, you know, a bunch of fucking teams that you just don't know. I mean, the Giants, just don't know. The Jets, are they real? Probably fucking not. Are the Mets gonna turn it around? No, they're just gonna collapse again. I'm sorry, Wolf. And then you know you got the Yankees. You know, the one hope for New York, the spirit of New York that lives through the Yankees is just it's just not a good thing. You know what? It isn't your grandpa's Yankees. It's definitely your grandson's Yankees. And
Thanks.
you know what? Your grandson's Yankees isn't a winning Yankees. Your father's Yankees, they won one barely, but not your grandson's Yankees. Your grandson's Yankees were a big letdown, and New York is hurting. New York is hurting for a squirtin', as they would say.
Dude, they are. They haven't won nothing recently.
Yeah, those fans are getting angry. I don't know if you guys notice, year by year, Yankees fans get shittier and shittier.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Please, New York, get it together and win before this gets real disgusting.
Yankees fans went from "we want Houston" to "sell the team" when they weren't even down 3 games yet. They were down 2 games, and like, you know, you bring it to New York and you're booing the team.
Booing
like,
Aaron Judge.
Fuck the Yankees. Fuck their shitty fans. Worst place in baseball, as Miles Straw said. Just fuck the Yankees. Let's just go another 20 years without the Yankees winning, because, you know, it's now been 23 years. So,
Well, they had
you know,
2009.
it's 2022. Oh shit. 13 years. All right, suppose.
But either way, 1 in 23 years is still, like, you know, pretty bad.
They've only won once in 20 years. So,
The Marlins
still,
won the
the
same
Red
amount.
Sox. It's a good perspective, and the Marlins don't pay nearly as much as the Yankees pay.
At least the Yankees fans are getting Dak Prescott back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh man, yo, Devante, what do you got to say about the Yankees, man? Close us off. Close the show off with a good old message.
The
to
Yankees, wow. What a storybook ending. You love to see it, you know? Had to take a page out of our book and still rewrite the same history they rewrote in '04 against us. Shed the bed when you needed the most. And then come next year and say it's their year like the New York Knicks. This offseason for the Yankees is either gonna prove they're gonna go big or they're just gonna rebuild. So fuck the Yankees. They deserve the sweep. They deserve the 4 series they've already given up to Houston over what, the last 5 years, 6 years, more. Well,
5 years, 2017 at least.
yeah.
But listen, with that being said, that was another episode of High and Inside, another one in the books. Thank you all for watching and listening. Like, subscribe, follow, sell your soul.
Facts.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends.
Just stop rooting. Well, stop rooting for the Yankees. Stop rooting for the Dodgers. Let's see what the Astros got. Are we gonna throw the Astros in that conversation? We'll find out on the next episode, because on the next episode we'll be back after hopefully the Astros win the World Series. I mean, that's just, I hate this. Why, I'm saying hopefully the Astros win the World Series. I feel
Dilly in 7.
Terrible. Terrible. I don't know.
Man. Bryce Harper bringing a fucking World Series to Philly. I'll be damned. But all right, with that, peace out. Let's get it.